Okay. Good morning. Good afternoon. Hi, Bia. Hey, Jan B. Hey, Jordan. It's been a while. It feels like it has been a while. I'm doing super well. Hope you're all well. We've had the Bank of Japan with slightly non-event. That's a little bit disappointing event, not a non-event earlier today. So we'll talk about that later through the session. Hope you're all well. And hey, if you are new to the session, do drop a message. Let me know that you're here. Let me know where you're joining us from. And for all the regulars, welcome back. Good to have you with me. The link is there for the Discord channel. Do make sure you join if you haven't already. So a quick risk disclaimer, this live market analysis is sponsored by Max Global Markets, a brokerage firm that is registered with and regulated by the MAS, the Monetary Authority of Singapore. Max Global Markets has no control over or influence over the content of this analysis. So please remember that the information in this analysis is offered solely for educational and informational reasons and does not constitute financial advice. Okay, and if you want to check out an account or try an account with Max Global Markets, the QR code, you can scan that right at the corner there and test it out, or register for an account and test it out. Okay, with that, let's keep going. Talk about that shortly. And good morning, Pips Apprentice. Got the times mixed up yesterday. I think it was the what's it called, the daylight saving timings that probably messed a couple of people up in terms of that. But you're here today, you're here now, so all good. Okay, let me just do this. Alrighty. So yes, if you do have any questions at any point in time, please feel free, put it into the chat. Let me know. I'll be happy to address your questions. So what do we have early this morning? Well, not early this morning, but early this trading session. We had at 11:28 a.m. This was tentative, and just after I decided that, or just when I decided I wanted to go for lunch, they released the BOJ statement, or BOJ decision, keeping rates at minus 0.1%, and then the monetary policy statement was released. You see here, oops, did I click on it? Okay, you see here that they widened the band around 10-year JGBs, plus 1%, scraps reference to daily fixed rate JGBs, maintained the short-term rates at minus 0.1%, maintained 10-year JGB yield at around 0. Basically disappointing markets because there was, like we've been talking about, right? There was a lot of consideration whether the Bank of Japan was going to intervene or speak about intervention, or make a comment about how rates were too high, possibly too high, or they're watching it more closely. I was even considering that they would have or could have adjusted the flexibility on the 10-year JGBs, which would look like an adjustment to the monetary policy, causing a spike down on the US yen, but it did not happen. Right, following this news statement at 11:28 a.m., what we actually saw on the yen was that it went pretty much straight up. Okay, for those of you who are not already on Discord, didn't see it on Discord, when just before the news, I think at 11 plus or 11, I was saying that I was looking at a possibility of about that move down on the yen. Right, it was just sitting right there. I was trying to push lower, and I thought, right, I had an order there, right? I was trying to catch this move, so I had a sell order there, 149.20. So yeah, exactly there, 149.20 was my order. I was thinking maybe they'll make a comment about rates, or about monetary policy, or about the 10-year JGB flexibilities, and we would see the yen spike down. 90 pips would have been reasonable to the downside, right? Continuing on with that recent trend to the downside. So I was looking for that. Then, as we all know, the news was released 11:28. It went straight up, right? It went straight up. So straight away I canceled off my sell. Yes, oh, what happened there? Okay, so it shot up, right? And it basically, I'll show you this to you on an M15 time frame, or even an M5. Within 5 minutes, within the first 5 minutes, it went from 149.33 or 35 straight up to 149.96, almost 150, right? So it was a big, strong push on the yen, to the effect of within that 5 minutes, we saw a 62 pip move to the upside. Why did it move up like that? It's really because markets were anticipating some kind of more significant action from the BOJ, but that did not come around. So because of that, disappointment led to yen weakness, led to the US yen pushing strongly to the upside, right? So we saw that push up. So back to the H1 time frame, I sat there. Then when it got out, I was looking at this and I said, it's outside Bollinger. When it come back in, then I'll look to buy it back up. Okay, so that's what I did at 12 when the candle closed. You see, it came back. It came back in. It was outside. It came back into the Bollinger. Okay, and then at 12 when the candle closed inside the Bollinger, I got into the trade at 149.90, so it's right there. And then, right, got 149.90 at that point. I had a 20 pip stop loss, and then for that trade, which I only just closed before this session, I had my take profit up here at about 55 or 52. Just about there, because I want to catch this high, right? I want to catch that point there. So that was my trade. That was my trade from the following the yen news. Then at that candle at 2 o'clock, I think about 2:30, I posted that in the Discord group saying, hey, should I close up my trade? We do have our call coming up, our live stream here coming up. So I didn't want to keep trying to have to think about my trade, so I closed out. All right, closed out. I think that it could still move up, but we might see a little bit of a retracement first, maybe, before another leg up, or consolidation here before another leg up. So that's also one of the reasons why I closed out that trade. Okay, so that I closed out at 35, right there. 150.25, I closed out about there. Yep, so 35 pip move for me, following the yen news to the upside. Now the question is whether it's going to break past 150.50, and then we could possibly see 151 or 152 as well. Okay, maybe not 152, but 151. Okay, so with that was my trade from this morning on the US yen, because of the BOJ policy rates, monetary policy statements. Slight disappointment there. With that, good morning. Hi Ismet. Hey David. Hey Diana. Hey Jimmy. Hey Hayakame. Hey Goju. How are all of you doing? Good to see you guys back in the session. So what else we have with this? We do have a couple of GDP numbers that was released. It didn't do too much. It had some movement, but didn't do too much. And then we have the yen with the press conference coming up anywhere between 3:30 and 3:45. What can you just tell us what time is going to happen? But I don't pay any attention to the press conference. It's in Japanese. I don't understand Japanese, so I don't pay any attention to that. It's a done deal already with the news earlier this morning. And then later on today we have the Canadians with the GDP 0 to 0.1% expected. Might see a little bit of an uptick with employment, US employment and consumer confidence. For the US, surprisingly looking to go from 103 to 100.5. Might see some weakness to continue here on the US dollar. Okay, so with that, then tomorrow we have some employment numbers for the Kiwis. I anticipate that tomorrow might be a little bit slower. Tomorrow might be a little bit slower because we have ADP, we have ISM manufacturing for the US, but mostly we have the FOMC decision at 2 a.m. on Thursday morning for me. Don't know what time frame is it for you guys. By 2 a.m. GMT plus 8, we have the US Fed Reserve looking to keep rates at 5.5%. Again, quick reference to the CME. It is... Oh, look at that. So it was if I remember correctly, it was 3 point something yesterday. And then now it's down to 1.7, so it's back to 98.3% chance, almost a certainty that we're going to see the Fed keep rates on hold at 5.5%. Okay, I think that's pretty much a given. They've really kept it on hold since September. I'll tell you more about that tomorrow. Okay, so now looking at the charts. We had a bit of a mess around on this, but yesterday we were saying that it was going to come down to that 38.2 level, possibly hold at that 50%, which is 106, and then it's just done that, right? It's bounced back up a little bit, now looking like maybe it's going to sit there. I wanted to say that as I was planning this session, I was going to say that we might see the dollar go down lower. Right? I was thinking that it could head lower. But I don't see any reason for either that upside or that downside push. I just noticed this at 6 p.m. Eurozone CPI flash estimates 4.3 to 3.1, 4.5 to 4.2 on the core CPI for the Eurozone. Inflation growth in the Eurozone getting down to 3.1%, that'll be very good. Okay. Might see a bit of a push up on the euro. Oh, look at that. Okay. So that one's broken. We can take that away. 38.2 is done. 50 is still there. 61.8 is the next level down. Could be looking at that. So it's came down, tested 50, rebound, and in the shorter term move, seems to be testing 50 in that area again. What I'm thinking here, why I'm hesitating, because what I'm thinking here is that it might push up a little bit. Right? It might push up a little bit, but overall, I do think that we could see the dollar push back down. Let me just check. Well, did we miss anything from yesterday? No, nothing much happened yesterday. FX could affect policy if it impacts price outlook. Okay, some jawboning to come from Ueda. Okay, so I'm looking at the dollar here, looking like it might sit here, but I'm overall looking for the dollar to test lower towards that 106 level. I think between 105.95 and 106.12, so about that 106 level for the dollar index. Let's look at it. Good morning, Buba. How are you doing? 31st of October, dollar index may trade lower. Trade lower down to 106 level, supported by 61.8 fib level. Okay, there we go. So looking at that, pushing down, could it go lower? Could be, but so what we're looking at here is generally a downward push, a downtrend, or continuation to the downside for the dollar index. Okay, now then onto this, onto the Kiwi dollar. Didn't do too much yesterday, right? It didn't do too much yesterday. In fact, it pushed up. Wait, let me move this aside first. It pushed up past that level, so at about 2 a.m. early this morning, pushed up briefly before turning back down. This was a trade that you would have seen it testing and failing. Should have cancelled off that trade. If you did get into that trade, that would have been the stop loss of 15 pips. Okay, if you did not cancel, if you just blindly put in a buy order and let it run, then this would be hit and a stop loss of 15. That's why I don't like setting orders, and I think someone asked that question yesterday. That's why I don't like setting orders, because this would have gone up and triggered your order. This candle as well, these two candles here would have triggered your orders. So, that's why I don't like it. You see that in general, the Kiwi dollar was sitting in a tight consolidation. Okay. So now, again, at this point, 61.8 has been broken. So that previous high here is something that I would consider. Anticipating that dollar weakness, so we're looking at this to push up again. A very small trade here on the Kiwi dollar, 5, 8, 4, 7, 20 pip stop loss. Oh, this is tiny, 20 to 20. Yeah, this is a smaller time frame kind of trade, not an H1 kind of trade, right? Unless you do like a 10, look for it to break up. I don't like it. Okay, I would say that yes, I do think that the Kiwi is going to head to the upside, but for a better setup, an hopefully easier setup, what you want to be looking for is for price to test that resistance at 5870. If it breaks up from that resistance, then you have that trade to the upside. If not, then you can see a rebound back down. Okay, so I don't want to trade this. I wouldn't signal a setup to trade this up, but if you're trading the Kiwi dollar, you'll be on the 5-15 minute time frame. You could trade it up. Ultimately, the bigger move is going to come at 5870, where we're looking for reaction. Look for reaction at 0.5870, possible buy sell scenario. Okay, so that means that we're gonna short term trade it up. You could do that, but ultimately we're waiting for it to be at 5870. If it does break to the upside, trade it up. If it rejects, keep within the range, you can trade it back down. Jimmy says that the Kiwi dollar looks like it's in a rising wedge. I see the rising. Unless that's what you're talking about. So the rising plus that, or so is it this one, or is it that? I think it's more that. I think that's what you're looking at. Yeah, that's still a short term. It still needs to clear above this point. Good morning, Jamil. How are you doing? So it still needs to clear above this point. I think even if it does break out of this, yes, we know it's going to get to that. Still needs to break above 5870 before, you could be looking at a trade like 5875, take profit, 50 pips, stop loss, very tight, no more than 20 to the downside. Right? You could even take this a little bit. 5880, still about 50 pips, stop loss about 20 pips. You'll be looking for something like that, but it just need to break above that point first, okay? Then Aussie dollar, look, we were looking for this to come up to test that level. It didn't really get there. It didn't get all the way there, came close. 6384, 639 is about 10 pips away, came very close before retracing. I think that's done. We can take that one away. Now checking these levels. I think we have 38.2 right there. That was tested. And looks like it's bouncing back up. I would do the same on the Aussie, look for it to test 0.64, well, to look for reaction at that point. Very strong level at 0.64. So it's something I want to watch out, right? You've seen a lot of reaction along this level. I would say it's quite significant. So you want to see a reaction along this point. If it rejects or if it bounces, then you have to go for that buy sell scenario. Buy or sell, not buy and sell scenario. Okay, so same thing. Look for reaction, wait for reaction. Let's go look. Possible buy sell scenario. Okay, so I'm keeping this tool a little bit, I just don't like how it's right in the middle of that support and resistance level. Same on the Kiwi with no intermediate levels to consider too strongly, and not a lot of take profit levels as well. Not a wide take profit level. So I want to see it test that resistance before we decide on what to do next. Okay, then on to the US yen. Like right as I was, why is that in the middle there? Okay, that's in the middle because we're considering I just want a point of reference for 151. Okay, so why I have some reference points at times is because if I didn't have this line there, then you would think that great, you know, all the yen needs to do is break above that high, and I would have a nice long trade. 150.60, got a good 90 pip to the upside. Stop loss can be about 25 pips, like that. Fantastic trade. But what you tend to forget is, there are psychological round number barriers. So we do have 151 there that we want to consider, right? We want to watch out for and consider. This level at 151.50 is where we saw back here, right? The body of, or the close of the candle back on the 21st of October last year. All right, and then we have another level up here at almost 152. And that's where we saw that massive V-shaped U-turn on the US yen. So now back to the H1 time frame, back to the current. What I would say here is breaks above 150.50, look to buy. So 150.60, stop loss 25. Take profit would be take profit would be here, 85, with a consideration at 151. Okay, still looking at that continued upside push, despite the dollar weakness, despite the potential dollar weakness. I think that the weakness in the yen is going to push, or is likely to push the dollar yen up. Okay, so I'm still looking at dollar yen to buy 150.60. Yes. Stop loss 25, take profit 85, with a hesitation at 151. There we go. Okay, so looking at this, break above that previous high, 150.60, stop loss 25, take profit 85, with a possible hesitation at 151. There we go. Then, on to the pound. Jamil was just saying that on the pound is in the sell direction. BL just said no BOJ, Ministry of Finance intervention. I don't. Okay, back to the US yen. I don't think so at this point. I think that if they wanted to intervene at this interval, I think if they wanted to intervene, the meeting this morning would have been a good opportunity, would have been an opportune time. I think that they're possibly going to see that big intervention, quite similar to what we saw last year, well into that 150 range, 151 range, and then we're going to possibly see the big reversal. We've seen a couple of trials. We've seen one trial, undeclared trial here, and so we might see this push up, gather more orders, and then see that big spike back down. So I don't think they'll do an intervention now. Okay, if it happens, yes, it could be setting up for that. But yeah, it seems to have cleared 150 quite strongly, so might see what happens at that point. Okay, then on to, but yeah, good consideration there, BL. Then Jamil's pound, dollar, looking at potentially the downside, broke above 38.2. We have 50 right there that seems to have come close and held. It didn't go down and trigger the trade. Oh, that was the one I was actually sharing in the group as well, where, you know, yesterday, right after our session, this was at 3, it shot down, 4 o'clock, I was like, okay, great, get ready. I was pushing down, I was looking for it, closes red, I'm gonna get in, and then next moment it comes right back up. So I'm like, okay, did not close below my level, not gonna get into that trade. So it's bounced all the way back up. So saved on that. Now, Jamil, you have a sell. Why are you planning to sell on the pound? Why sell? I see this actually maybe recovering a little bit more on 5-minute time frame. Okay. See, if I just put this 1.2180 level right across, you see that this is quite significant. It could push back up. Diana says on a lower time frame it shows a short. I don't see it. Let me see. On which lower time frame are you talking about, Diana? I know Jamil said 5 minutes. Grab that, push back up. No, 15. Oh, okay, Diana says 5. I'm actually, why I'm a bit, yeah. It needs, I think it's gonna sit there, but I would be looking for it to break above 1.2180 for that upside. Right, break above 1.2180 for the upside. I don't see it dropping actually. No, I don't see it dropping. Is there any news that could lead to that? Nope. Okay. Okay. There might be some downside on the shorter term time frame, but what I'm seeing is for it to, if it can break above this 1.2180 level like that, 1.2185. I don't see, that's the thing, I don't see an 85 pip move either. I don't see an 85 pip move on the pound either. So maybe what we could see is a move like this, right? A test of 1.2180, a reject, and a push back down. Could be, I could work with that. 1.2170, stop loss 20 pips, take profit 60 to the downside. Yeah, so we're going to see some dollar weakness push that up, anticipating that dollar weakness, right? So see that push back up, test, and then reject, and then push back down. Embless sees an inverted head and shoulder. I think you're talking about this. Yeah, but then you still have that point. I don't think an inverted head and shoulder is a valid one, but I think we're going to work on that. We'll work on this, okay? So 1.2170, stop loss 20, take profit 60 for the scenario that the dollar weakens a little bit and then after that strengthens back. 1.2170, 70? Yes. 20 to 60. Stop loss 20, take profit 60. Okay. Then onto the euro dollar. Um, 61.8 has held, pushing back up as well. Right, so that did not happen. Take that away. That's pushing back up. This trend line is well and truly broken. We can take that away as well. Now, what I'm looking for here is that this seems a little bit more developed. So I'm looking for it to break above the resistance. So 1.0645. Stop loss no more than 20 pips. Take profit 40 pips to the upside. Continuation back up on the euro dollar. Okay, so euro dollar, I would be looking for a buy at 1.0645, 20 to 40. $1.05, stop loss 20, take profit 40. Okay, looks like we just, Aussie and Kiwi still waiting for reactions. Looks like the yen is the most likely one if it continues to move that way. And then the pound and the euro, a bit conflicting there, but the pound dollar will be waiting a little bit more because we want to see it push up before turning back down. And then on the euro, looking like it's going to continue to the upside. Still sitting right there. Then onto the US Swiss franc. It's consolidating right there. This line is broken. That did not trigger, take that away. But what you see is that as a tight consolidation. All right, a good consolidation there. Now, anticipating that dollar weakness, we should see this break to the downside. But we're looking at a short-term uptrend. Looks like if it breaks to the upside, I still want to see this turn down. You see this. No, that's done already. Okay, so what I'll be looking for here, this is that previous high, that consolidation in this case here. Right, I would be looking to see if it breaks down. I actually think that it's going to sit right there. I actually think it's going to sit right there because we have 0.9 here as a nice round number support level. Right, 0.9 right there. So, it's just going to sit there. It's going to bounce around. I don't see a lot of trades on this right now. So, consolidating along 9020. Between 9040 and 90. So, that 40 pip consolidation here, looking for it to break. You guys will probably realize now that it seems like today everything seems to be sitting right there waiting for a little bit of a decision, and I actually don't mind this. I'll tell you why shortly. Consolidating between 0.9 and 0.9040. Okay, and I'll tell you why I actually don't mind this consolidation, even if it sits there today through to tomorrow, because the tighter or the longer it compresses for, along a support level, or in this case, if it comes up to that resistance, it looks like it's on the way. If it pushes up, or like the pound dollar test this level, as it sits along a level, this is retracing a little bit. Once it breaks out, right? No, it's not even an if it breaks out. It's once it breaks out of a consolidation, you're very likely to see a bigger move. So this could end up looking like, 8995. You have a tight stop loss, no more than 20 pips. Your take profit could go right back down to 100. Okay, that's on dollar weakness. You see that spike down. You see, you could see the Swiss franc break out of that consolidation and spike all the way down. So sometimes I don't like it all the time because I get super bored. But sometimes when I see things consolidating, especially near a support or resistance level, it's not the worst thing. It's one of those days where you just don't have that many trades, but you're preparing for, in a day or two, you're gonna have some big trades coming around. Okay, so I think I used to say this quite a bit. If there are no trades, don't feel like you have to rush it. Don't feel like you have to force it out. US CAD on the loonie. Remember, we do have the GDP number to come. 0 to 0.1. It's a month to month. So looking at this, possibly pushing down, right? Possibly pushing down. I would say, because 23.6 is done, we can take that one away. It's broken. The aggressive ones in you, the aggressive ones amongst us, could possibly be looking at getting in 1.38, below 1.3815, right? So we have a low here, and if it breaks below 1.3815, you could be looking at that point. Right, stop loss 30 pips, take profit, it could go down to even 61.8. At this level will be 60 pips, 67 pips, almost 70. So 1:2 to the downside. And then, and this is driven by that dollar weakness as well. So I see this as quite a possibility. One other thing you could consider, the safer option, a lot more weighting, would be if it breaks below 38.2. Yep, if it breaks below 38.2, so 1.3785, stop loss is tight at no more than 20 pips. Take profit down to 90 pips. Okay, so you have that option, slightly early, higher. This is a lot higher risk because it hasn't broken yet. Or you can be looking at 38.2. I'll highlight that one, 1.3785 for you guys. So we're looking on the loonie, we're looking to sell 1.3785. Yes. And then 1.3785, stop loss 20, take profit 90. Big move. Possible big move. 20, 90. Okay. Yep, okay. Then on to gold. Alright, look at that. We had that levels, we identified 50% retracement level. So yesterday it came down, tested this 50% level, failed to break, bounced right back up. And then it caught, where's this? Caught this point. Oh, okay, caught two. Let me go back to that. Don't need it so far away. Okay, so we take that one away. I think we had that based on the previous levels. Right, came down, tested 50, bounced back up, tested 50 again, now pushing back up. We have this point here as a previous high at 2007. Now, given that we're anticipating that dollar weakness to the downside, then that's going to push up, I would say safely, not safely as in it's a sure thing, but you know, I would, because of that round number there at 2000, I wanted to break above 2000 before I would see 2008. Right, I'll see 2008. And then beyond that, you could see 2021. Okay, so gold above 2000 could get to 2008. Beyond that, 2021. I see a question there, Diana. Let me get to that shortly. In a minute. Okay. If you look at the daily time frame on pound, there is, let me go to pound. Okay, if you look on if you look at the daily time frame on pound, there is possibility of liquidity grab at 1.2285. Wait. 1.2285. Okay, around there, yes. Due to price rejected from daily fair value with 3 times, can you please have a look? Yeah. Yeah, so we're looking at this point here, 1.2285. We're going to move this down a bit. There, right there. Means price will go to that level. Yeah. I think maybe even before this level, okay, let me just go down to the small time frame first again, just to take these away. I think that, okay, like this, sorry, I'm just switching around charts. I'm trying to find out what's the best way to draw it on. I think what I anticipate here on the pound dollar is that it could actually, you know, now we have this level here that we've seen since last week. So what I actually, on a longer scale, I actually see pound dollar maybe pushing up a little bit, and then after that coming back down, and then pushing back up, and then finally testing this level before coming back down again. Right, so staying within this big range, but overall you see that it's also in that, right? So it's going to come up, test a little bit, and turn back down, maybe push up and turn back down again, all the way through to possibly all the way through to this resistance level before we see that push back down. Not very dissimilar to this, although this was more consistent to the upside, right? So does that make sense? Does that answer your question there, Diana? Yeah, I don't think it will be that kind of move, right? I think it will be that kind of move. Okay, and that's interesting. But yeah, the pound dollar is pushing up a little bit right now, so we want to see what happens at 50. Now, doing a quick review. Did I update my gold? Yes. Doing a quick review. Yes, Kiwi dollar is slightly on the way, needs to react to that resistance level. Aussie dollar is also on the way, needs to react to that resistance level. US yen retraced, but as long as it stays above this level, maybe looking still for that, for this kind of move. All right, then pound dollar testing, look for the test 50, reject, come back down. Euro dollar breaks above that resistance. So it's all, we have setups, we're ready, but, well, we have setups, but we are waiting. Okay, Sweezy consolidating, Loonie needs to push back down. And with all that said, please remember, help me out, click that like and subscribe button. And if you haven't already, the Discord channel is there. Please do join, absolutely free to join. If you want to check out an account with Max Global Markets, to scan on the QR code there. And if not, please remember, trade well, trade safe. Doesn't look like we're going to rush into a lot of trades today. So please, don't feel like you have to hammer out trades left, right, center. Do take care. I'll see you all on Discord, and if not, tomorrow, same time, same place. Take care now. Bye bye.